Illinois Real Estate Exam Landlord Tenant Questions. Question 1. Logan posts a social media ad for a listing near Oak Park using only a personal phone number and no brokerage identification. Which issue is most likely raised by Illinois advertising rules during Blair's Aurora small apartment building file review? Option A. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. Option B. A licensee may advertise without any broker identification online. Option C. Only print advertising must identify a broker. Option D. Brokerage identification is unnecessary if the property address appears. The correct answer is option A. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. Illinois advertising expectations focus on protecting the public from misleading ads and making the sponsoring brokerage clear. Online ads are still advertising, and the property address or a personal phone number does not replace proper broker identification. Question 2. Several liens are discovered before closing, including a recorded mortgage, unpaid property taxes, and a later judgment lien. Why is lien priority important during Quinn's Evanston mixed-use storefront file review? Option A. Priority decides who may advertise the property. Option B. Priority determines the order in which claims may be paid from the property's value. Option C. Priority cancels the need for title insurance. Option D. Priority makes every lien disappear at listing. The correct answer is option B. Priority determines the order in which claims may be paid from the property's value. Lien priority affects the order of payment when property is sold or foreclosed. It does not control advertising rights, eliminate title insurance analysis, or erase liens merely because a property is listed. Question 3. A buyer purchases for $370,000, makes a 25% down payment, and has $5,300 in closing costs. About how much cash is needed at closing before credits during Sydney's Oak Park vacant lot file review? Option A. $92,500. Option B. $5,300. Option C. $97,800. Option D. $364,700. The correct answer is option C. $97,800. Cash needed combines the down payment and closing costs, 25% of $370,000 plus $5,300 equals $97,800. The other choices omit either the costs or the down payment, or subtract costs from the price incorrectly.
Stressed about your AccuPlacer exam? We can take AccuPlacer exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 4. A listing broker learns of a recurring basement water problem before a buyer submits an offer. How should the issue generally be treated in an Illinois exam scenario during Logan's Decatur rental duplex file review? Option A. It may be hidden if the seller requests silence. Option B. It is never relevant once the property is listed as minus is. Option C. It must be disclosed only after the buyer obtains a loan. Option D. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. The correct answer is option D. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. Known material facts can affect a buyer's decision and should not be concealed. A seller's request, and as minus is label, or the timing of financing does not eliminate the broker's duty to avoid misrepresentation and disclose material information. Question 5. A landlord refuses to consider an applicant because of disability. What fair housing concept is most directly involved during Kendall's Elgin Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. Discrimination based on a protected class in housing transactions. Option B. A lawful appraisal adjustment. Option C. A title minus priority decision. Option D. A contract contingency automatically required by lenders. The correct answer is option A. Discrimination based on a protected class in housing transactions. Fair housing laws prohibit discrimination in housing based on protected classes. The situation is not an appraisal adjustment, title priority issue, or lender minus required contract contingency. Question 6. A rental property has NOI of $24,000 and a value estimate of $300,000. Approximately what capitalization rate is indicated during Harper's normal suburban ranch home file review? Option A, 4%. Option B, 8%. Option C, 11%. Option D, 12.5%. The correct answer is option B, 8%. The capitalization rate is NOI divided by value, so $24,000 divided by $300,000 is about 8%. The other answers have the rate, add unsupported points, or invert the formula. Question 7. A residential seller in Illinois knows about past foundation movement but leaves the disclosure report blank. What concept is most directly tested during Jamie's Carbondale commercial suite file review? Option A. The buyer's duty to ignore all seller statements. Option B. The lender's exclusive duty to inspect the property. Option C. The seller's disclosure obligations for known material defects. Option D. The appraiser's authority to waive statutory disclosures. The correct answer is option C. The seller's disclosure obligations for known material defects. Illinois residential disclosure rules focus on the seller's disclosure of known material defects. Buyers still may inspect, but that does not make seller disclosure meaningless. Lenders and appraisers do not waive statutory disclosure duties. Question 8. Two firms agree that one will serve buyers only in Peoria while the other will avoid that area and focus on Naperville. Which antitrust concept best fits during Rowan's Galesburg farm parcel file review? Option A. Valid escalation clause. Option B. Leasehold estate. Option C. Statutory redemption period. Option D. A market allocation. The correct answer is option D. Market allocation. Competitors who divide territories or customers can create an unlawful market allocation scheme. Escalation clauses are contract tools, leasehold estates are possessory interests, and redemption periods relate to foreclosure law.
Are you looking for AccuPlacer exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access AccuPlacer exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get AccuPlacer exam answer key today.
Question 9. A buyer obtains a loan of $220,400 on a property appraised at $290,000. Approximately what is the loan minus to minus value ratio during Jordan's Moline single minus family home file review? Option A, 76%. Option B, 24%. Option C, 86%. Option D, 61%. The correct answer is option A, 76%. Loan minus to minus value is calculated by dividing the loan amount by the appraised value, $220,400 divided by $290,000, or about 76%. The other percentages confuse equity with LTV or use an incorrect numerator or denominator. Question 10. Drew receives $1,000 in earnest money and places it in a personal checking account for convenience. Which trust minus account problem is illustrated? Option A. A lawful automatic conversion of escrow funds into commission. Option B. Commingling client funds with personal funds. Option C. A required method for handling every earnest money deposit. Option D. A title defect that is cured by recording a deed. The correct answer is option B. Commingling client funds with personal funds. Client or customer funds such as earnest money must be handled through the appropriate special or trust account process. Putting the money into a personal checking account is commingling. It is not automatic commission, not the required method, and not a title minus recording issue. Question 11. Taylor prepares a price opinion for a seller in Normal to help set a listing price. Which limitation should be remembered during Morgan's Waukegan condominium unit file review? Option A. A CMA always creates a guaranteed sale price. Option B. A broker price opinion transfers title. Option C. A CMA or broker price opinion is not the same as a formal appraisal by a licensed appraiser. Option D. A CMA eliminates all disclosure duties. The correct answer is option C. A CMA or broker price opinion is not the same as a formal appraisal by a licensed appraiser. A CMA or BPO can help estimate market price for brokerage purposes, but it is not a formal appraisal. It does not guarantee a sale price, transfer title, or remove disclosure obligations. Question 12. A borrower pays 1 discount points on a $120,000 loan. How much do the points cost? Option A, $600. Option B, $2,200. Option C, a different result not supported by the facts. 3. Option D, $1,200. The correct answer is option D, $1,200. 1 discount point equals 1% of the loan amount, so 1 points cost 1% of $120,000, or $1,200. The other figures use too few points, only 1 point, or add an unsupported amount. Question 13. A sponsoring broker is asked to produce special account records during a regulatory review. Which practice best supports compliance during Riley's Chicago Small Apartment Building File Review? Option A, maintaining complete transaction and trust minus account records that can be examined when required. Option B, deleting old deposit records once the closing occurs. Option C, keeping records only in the salesperson's personal email. Option D, combining all clients into one undocumented cash envelope. The correct answer is option A, maintaining complete transaction and trust minus account records that can be examined when required. Regulators may examine records to verify compliant handling of funds and transactions. Deleting records, relying only on a personal email, or using an undocumented cash envelope undermines record retention and auditability. Question 14. A landlord uses a consumer credit report to evaluate Reese's rental application. Which law commonly appears in property minus management screening questions during Avery's Springfield Mixed minus Use Storefront File Review? Option A, Truth in Zoning Act. Option B, Fair Credit Reporting Act. Option C, Statute of Frauds Only. Option D, Uniform Commercial Code Bulk Sales Rules. The correct answer is option B, Fair Credit Reporting Act. Tenant screening that uses consumer credit information implicates the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The other choices do not specifically govern consumer reports used to evaluate rental applicants. Question 15. Annual property taxes are $3,600, and the seller owes the buyer a credit for 60 days using a 365-day year. Approximately how large is the credit during Cameron's Peoria vacant lot file review? Option A, $300. Option B, $10. Option C, $592. Option D, $1,184. The correct answer is option C, $592. Daily proration divides $3,600 by 365 and multiplies by 60 days, giving about $592. The other choices use 1 month, 1 day only, or double the required prorated period. Question 16. Harper signs an exclusive buyer representation agreement and later asks why the writing matters. Which answer best fits exam-tested brokerage agreement principles during Drew's Naperville rental duplex file review? Option A. A brokerage agreement eliminates all disclosure duties. Option B. Oral promises always replace signed terms. Option C. A brokerage agreement transfers legal title to the broker. Option D. Written terms help define services, compensation, duration, and the parties' obligations. The correct answer is option D. Written terms help define services, compensation, duration, and the parties' obligations. Brokerage agreements define key business terms and help avoid disputes about services and compensation. They do not eliminate disclosure duties. Oral promises generally do not automatically replace signed terms, and the agreement does not convey title to the broker. Question 17. Taylor signs closing documents for an absent seller under a power of attorney. Which issue is most important during Hayden's Rockford Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. The authority must be valid and broad enough for the act being performed. Option B. A power of attorney automatically makes the signer the owner. Option C. No written authority is ever needed. Option D. The broker may create authority by verbal approval alone. The correct answer is option A. The authority must be valid and broad enough for the act being performed. A power of attorney gives authority only if it is valid and covers the act being performed. It does not transfer ownership to the signer by itself, and verbal approval alone is not a safe substitute for proper written authority. Question 18. A sponsored licensee uses the team name Lakefront Homes Team in advertising. Which compliance concern should be checked first during Parker's Bloomington Suburban Ranch Home File Review? Option A. Whether the team can operate without a sponsoring broker. Option B. Whether the team name and ad clearly avoid misleading consumers about the sponsoring brokerage. Option C. Whether the team name creates automatic title insurance. Option D. Whether the team may set commission rates with competitors. The correct answer is option B. Whether the team name and ad clearly avoid misleading consumers about the sponsoring brokerage. Team advertising must be clear enough that consumers are not misled about the brokerage relationship and sponsorship. A team does not replace the sponsoring broker, create title insurance, or justify antitrust violations. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A buyer and seller dispute whether a wall-mounted shelving stays with the property. Which test is most relevant during Reese's Champagne Commercial Suite File Review? Option A. Whether the buyer likes the item. Option B. Whether the item is expensive enough. Option C. Whether the item has become a fixture based on attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Option D. Whether the broker wants it included. The correct answer is option C. Whether the item has become a fixture based on attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Fixture analysis looks at factors such as attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Personal preference, price alone, or the broker's preference does not determine whether the item stays with the real estate. Question 20. A business offers to find apartments for renters in exchange for a fee. Why might Illinois licensing law be implicated during Alex's Joliet Farm Parcel File Review? Option A. Rental minus finding services are always exempt regardless of activity. Option B. Only sellers can trigger licensing law. Option C. The service becomes legal if no written records are kept. Option D. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. The correct answer is option D. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Rental minus finding and leasing minus related services may be regulated when performed for compensation. The activity is not automatically exempt, licensing law is not limited to sales, and failing to keep records does not cure an unlicensed activity issue. Question 21. A buyer reviews debits, credits, lender charges, preparations, and cash needed to close. Which document function is being tested during Blair's Aurora Single-Family Home File Review? Option A. Settlement or closing statement accounting. Option B. A zoning map amendment. Option C. A subdivision plat approval. Option D. A deed covenant creating a life estate. The correct answer is option A. Settlement or closing statement accounting. Closing statements organize transaction charges, credits, preparations, and cash to close. Zoning approvals, plats, and deed covenants do not perform the same accounting function. Question 22. A consumer asks why a state real estate recovery fund might exist. Which purpose is closest during Quinn's Evanston 2-flat building file review? Option A. Guaranteeing every buyer a profit on resale. Option B. Providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Option C. Paying all ordinary home repairs after closing. Option D. Replacing the need for broker licensing. The correct answer is option B. Providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Recovery funds are designed as limited consumer protection remedies for qualifying misconduct related losses. They do not guarantee investment profit, pay routine repairs, or replace licensing and discipline systems. Question 23. A consumer asks why a state real estate recovery fund might exist. Which purpose is closest during Sydney's Oak Park condominium unit file review? Option A, guaranteeing every buyer a profit on resale. Option B, paying all ordinary home repairs after closing. Option C, providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Option D, replacing the need for broker licensing. The correct answer is option C, providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Recovery funds are designed as limited consumer minus protection remedies for qualifying misconduct minus related losses. They do not guarantee investment profit, pay routine repairs, or replace licensing and discipline systems. Question 24. Casey has completed high school and wants a first Illinois broker license after finishing coursework in Peoria. Which education path most directly satisfies the standard broker pre-minus license requirement during Logan's Decatur Townhome file review? Option A, only a 15-hour leasing agent course. Option B, 45 hours of managing broker education without broker coursework. Option C, a continuing education course completed after licensure. Option D, 60 hours of broker pre-minus license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. The correct answer is option D, 60 hours of broker pre-minus license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. Illinois broker candidates in the standard path complete 75 class hours made up of 60 hours of broker topics and 15 hours of interactive applied principles. A leasing course is for residential leasing agents, managing broker education is a different license path, and continuing education applies after licensure rather than before the broker exam. Question 25. A buyer pays for the right, but not the obligation, to purchase a property at a set price during a stated period. Which agreement is described during Kendall's Elgin small apartment building file review? Option A, option agreement. Option B, open listing only. Option C, tax deed. Option D, subordination agreement. The correct answer is option A, option agreement. An option gives the holder the right to buy under stated terms without requiring the holder to exercise it. An open listing is a brokerage agreement, a tax deed relates to tax enforcement, and subordination changes lien priority.